Hey guys, Snupy here. So it's finally time for my Feral Druid PvP guide for Cataclysm. So I've been playing a bunch of games. Actually, today we just got 1900 finally on Ret Feral. Playing double DPS and Cat has been a blast. Almost top 100 now. But yeah, I've been absorbing info from my own gameplay, of course, but also watching guides, talking to other rank 1 Feral Druids that are actually rank 1 in Cata. As you know, my rank 1s have been in more recent expansions. Yeah, I've been basically gathering as much data as I can, and here I am now to condense all that into one, hopefully, short-ish video, so I can teach you guys everything you need to know from your opener, rotation, glyphs, talents, bis gear, all that stuff. So let's dive into it. All right, so when it comes to talents, there's a few different things that you want to keep in mind that Cataphrel deviates from normal or like most other expansions. One of them being cat form itself doesn't no longer, or shapeshifting itself doesn't remove roots anymore. It does remove slows, but not roots, which is quite painful, but it's kind of saved in a way because with this talent right here, your dash and Stampede Roar have a 100% chance to remove all movement impairing effects from the affected targets when used. So basically, good use of dash and good use of Stampeding Roar is going to be vital, especially against, mage and such. Yeah, very, very important. I'm going to be talking about macros a bit later in the video. There's some macros you want to have here that's going to make this a bit more smooth for you. But yeah, that's beside the point for now. Other notable talents is Stampede and also Predator Strikes. When you jump in, you get a free Ravage. This Ravage has a higher crit chance when your target is above 80% HP, like so. So you want to try use that when they're high HP, so early in the rotation. I'll get into the rotation a bit later as well. Also, we have Primal Madness. Fury is a lot better in Cata than it was in Wrath. Fury actually now gives us some energy back and also increases the damage of basically everything we do. It's very important that we have Fury up when we apply our long rips as much as we can. And also Rake, for that matter as well. So yeah, very, very important. Again, going to touch on this in depth in the rotation part. We also got Nurture Instincts and we got Natural Reaction. Makes it a bit more tanky. If you guys want to go and read all talents, it's not a bad idea to do. It might give you a better understanding, but I'm not going to go through everything right now. So let's dive onto the glyphs. You can see right here, very standard again. There's a few things that you can change here, but let's start. First thing, Glyph of Cirque, increase the duration of Berserk by 10 seconds. Very, very strong. Your Cirque window is when you're usually going to be doing the kills, I found. Not necessarily, because you can also rot things down, but very often, if you can just live until second Cirque, you can just end the game right there. And having that window be 10 seconds longer is, of course, very, very good. Then we have Glyph of Rip, increases rip damage by 15%. Must have. Bleeds in Cataclysm are massive. If you come from retail Feral Druid, you might think that this doesn't even sound that good because Rip doesn't even do that much damage on its own. It's more about biting in retail. But yeah, in Cata, it's all about maintaining bleeds. And you're going to see when I actually play it, that it's quite hard to do much else when you actually have good bleed up time because comp points are a bit slower to come by. But yeah, very, very, very important. Glyph of Rip. Then we have Glyph of Mangle. Increase the damage done by Mangle by 10%. Here, Bloodletting is quite nice as well. It's going to extend your Rip. But the problem is you can't always get behind a target for Shred. And also, this Mangle is very, very reliable and also very strong. And also, very satisfying to press. That's for sure. But yeah, so yeah, these are pretty much the ones you want to play for the most part. Sometimes you can change this right there. Now you have your, what's it called, major glyphs. We got Glyph of Pounce, increase the range on your pounds. Very, very nice to have. Sometimes you want to open up, you're in stealth. Let's say they're on a mount, and you're just not going to get the opener without it. You might even jump in, they're already gone, and it's going to be very clunky. But with this, getting your Rake from stealth is going to be a lot easier with the extra range. Definitely get that. There's probably some other option you could do depending on the content you're doing. For example, maybe this Fairfire thing. But in general, I would just say play this. Glyph of Pounce. It feels very, very, very nice to have. Then we have Glyph of Barkskin. Reduce the chance you'll be critically hit by 25% while Barkskin is active. Very, very nice. Makes you way more tanky, especially in stuns. And then Glyph of Feral Charge. Also very good to have. Then you have your minor glyphs. Glyph of Dash, Unburden Rebirth, and Glyph of Mark of the Wild. Yeah, Not much to really add here on the glyphs. There they are. I would say you pretty much play these always. So grab those and you'll be good to go. Now on to the next part of the guide. Okay, so now for the opener / rotation. So in the previous talent part of the video, we talked about a few key talents. Of course, there's more you can mention there. But yeah, a few key talents are Predatory Strikes, Stampede, and also Primal Madness. Basically, you jump in. We're going to get a free Ravage. This free Ravage will crit if the target is above 80% HP or way higher crit chance. And also, Fury is going to increase the damage of all our bleeds. Our goal here is going to be to go in. This is like the scenario that you don't need to save your wild charge. If you do need to save wild charge and you don't want to jump in from stealth, you can just use a Shred instead of a Ravage. But yeah, this is like the scenario where you can just jump in, which I would say is most scenarios. Like usually I'll do this in PvP. We have it written here. We're gonna wild charge in, pounce, Ravage quite early on. Again, if they're above 80% HP, it's gonna crit, or it's almost certainly gonna crit. Not completely certain though. Then Mangle, and then we Fury, get energy back up, and then we Rake and Rip with 5 calm points. At that point, you're gonna have a Predatory Swiftness. You can clone a healer, for example. And you also want to apply Fair Fire. But I'm going to kind of showcase the opener right now. Yeah. I'm going to jump in. Pounce. Ravage. Mangle. Rake with Fury. And then Rip as well. And now I can Shred. Can apply Fair Fire. Can clone the healer. Something like this. The opener can deviate a bit from that. But that opener right there, I would say play it back. Watch it. You can see, by the way, bottom left, my exact rotation. But yeah, full bleeds, get the Fair Fire up, land a clone, and then you're gaming. So yeah, from that and then also into the actual rotation. So one more thing that's very much worth mentioning is that Mangle increases all bleed damage by 30%. So you want to keep Mangle up always. This debuff. Beyond that, once bleeds are rolling, Shred is more value for damage, but you got to be behind him. And in arena, that can be quite tough to do. So therefore, Mangle's a great option as well if you can't really get behind the targets, and especially with Glyph and Mangle. If you play Bloodletting, then, you know, actually getting those shreds off is going to be even more vital. But, you know, very often you might be stuck in a slow, a root, whatever, and you can't really get behind him, and you just want to Mangle and just get those bleeds up and not worry about that too much. But yeah, now let me kind of show the opener and then move it into an actual rotation, including your Circ and Burst. So yeah, one thing I didn't use in that opener was Berserk. Berserk is very, very strong in Cataclysm. Keep in mind, you cannot Fury while Circ is active, but you can Circ while Fury's active. Just, yeah. Usually you want to, like, Fury and then Circ when you have it. And not the other way around, because that's not going to work. And then you're going to miss out on quite a bit of damage. But yeah, let's open up. Let me just remove these calm points real quick. Like so. One thing I do want to touch on as well is Savage Roar. Okay? So Savage Roar in Cataclysm is quite a bit weaker than it was in Wrath. It only increases your auto attack damage now, but it's by 80%. I would say Savage Roar is quite nice to have up if you're going to have high uptime with auto-attacking. When you do apply it, though, I would say you could just do 1 calm point, throw it out. It's going to give you 22 seconds. But if you did 5 calm points, it's going to be 42 seconds. So just, you know, pure maths there. You might have more value from just doing it on lower calm points and spending those high calm points on rips or even bites for big burst. But yeah, now with that out of the way, let's dive into it. So again, you're gonna open up, kind of same way, but now when we Fury, we're gonna throw in the Circ and just start bursting more, and this is gonna last for quite a bit of time. Let's do it. Jumping in, instant Ravage, Mangle. Now we're gonna Rake and Rip and Circ as well. Start spamming shreds. Big bite. At this point, everyone Fair Fire, maybe do a clone. Back in cat form, keep shredding. Of course, in arena is going to play it a bit differently. Mangle maybe 2. Can't get behind him. Keep shredding. As you can see, when Circ is up, you can do a lot of things. And for example, bite again. So at this point now, your circuit's over. You want to reapply the bleeds with Fury. Optimally with no gap. Because again, bleed up time is everything. So you might notice this when playing Cataphragm is that it's pretty hard to actually maintain your bleeds. And yeah, can't really use much else. Very often with your cloning, with your actually, bear forming and stuff, you can't really do much else and actually maintain those bleeds. So when that is the case, I wouldn't really worry about maiming. Maiming is more when like second circ comes back up, then you can do it. Maim can definitely be used to like clutch a kill. But maim is definitely more of a circ thing, I would say. But as the Night Elf, you're going to have Pounce from Shadow Meld, like so. And you also have Bash from Bear Form. So these two stuns are great. They don't cost comb points. And yeah, I would say those are going to be your main stuns. Yes, that is like the kind of burst / rotation. Again, to kind of sum it up, maintaining bleeds with Fury is the main thing. As a Feral Druid, you're not always going to be on a target, but if you have bleeds on a target, you're still going to keep up the pressure. You have bleeds, you might do a Cyclone, maybe get a pre-burst stun. While you're doing all this, your bleeds are taken away. They can also crit, by the way, and they're going to do a lot of damage. And that is, I would say that like the main thing is going to drill into your head is that bleeds is everything. Keep high bleed up time, and you're going to be doing good damage. All right, guys, so now for the gearing part of the guide. So having good gear, the right stats and everything is very important in Cataclysm, especially when it comes to hit and spell pen. So you're not going to be missing and resisting your Cyclones and your, attacks in general. But yeah, so I've actually made this list right here on 60upgrades.com. Great website. You can see and like interact with the character, the gems, everything. Scroll over and you can see all the gear. But quickly, let's talk about the stats. So in Cata, this is the stat priority. We got agility, best thing. Super good feral always is. Then hit rating, 5%. This is going to make you not miss anything except for Night Elves because they do have a higher miss chance, a passive. But yeah, 5% hit rating is the goal. 195 spell pen, resilience, 3k, and then like the normal stats. We got mastery, the best one. Crit, pretty good because the blades can crit in Cataclysm. And haste is something you don't really want at all. So, with those being the stats, let's talk about the actual gear. The nice thing about Cata Season 9, the first season of Cata, is that it's mostly PvP gear that is BIS. But there are a few pieces that are going to be slight upgrades from PvE. Example of this are the legs right here. So the legs from PvP have haste on them. And you can reforge this into mastery, and it's still going to be quite nice. But if you want a slight upgrade, you can grab Stormrider's leg guards that have mastery and crit on them. So keep that in mind. There are like a few items like this, but I mostly put the PvP gear here and highlighted the legs for this kind of slight upgrade from PvE that is possible. So yes, I'll link this in the description below. You can go there, scroll over everything, see the stats. Here, we got about 5% hit. When it comes to like spell pen and stuff, you can get the gem that's called Stormy Ocean Sapphire. It's a great way to just get to like that 195 or 200 quite easily. Same with hit rating, gemming. Also, you can reforge to just get to that 5% hit rating. I would say once you have 5% hit rating, though, you want to reforge from crit to mastery, especially from haste to mastery. But yeah, mastery is what you want for the most part. It's going to be great for your damage overall. I do recommend reading the skill cap post. It's really, really good. Kind of talks about more in-depth, like what the stats do and everything. A great thing to read if you want to go kind of more in-depth, which is not a bad idea to do. So yeah, again, guys, full gear. All that stuff is going to be linked down below. Go check it out. Mostly just PP gear with the right stats. And maybe a couple PP items if you want. So when it comes to professions, skill capped also touch on this. Tailoring is a great one to get a cloak enchant called Sword Guard Embroidery. This is going to give you a melee attack. A attack power proc, I believe, which is quite strong. I've actually not done my professions at all yet. I've been quite lazy on that. But if you want to min-max and be as strong as possible, that is something you definitely want to do. Blacksmithing, also a good option. You can do more gems. Jewel crafting, also can get better gems. As you can see here, 67 agility. And I believe you can also get a few other things as well. But yeah, my actual profession knowledge for Kata is not really all that good. But I recommend reading the skill cap post. Check out my pre-bis, or actually not pre-bis, bis item list right here on 60 upgrades. And now let's touch on some macros for Feral PvP in Cataclysm. Okay, so to finish up this guide, let's talk about some Feral Druid macros. So macros are quite nice. I feel like in these older versions of the game, you can make things function a lot more smoothly with the right macros. And I'm going to show you guys those right here, right now. So, focus macros. I have focus macro for Cyclone, for Kick, for Bash, for Roots. Very, very nice to have. Set a focus target, press your focus macro, and it's going to go on them. Just like that. Very, very basic, but definitely nice to have. This pastebin will be linked down below as well. So you can go there, copy these macros directly into your own game. Very, very smooth, frictionless way to do it. So I do recommend doing that. And yeah, also have a Bash macro, focus Bash. You can see there. I have one for pounce and rake. So if I'm in stealth, it's going to pounce. If I'm not in stealth, it's going to rake. I quite like that. Basically kind of makes it function like it would on retail. Fair Fire is going to work in all forms. Human form, bear form, cat form. Super, super nice. I have a Circ macro. The Circ macro is going to function in a way where if you press it in bear form, it's not going to take you to cat form. If you press it out of cat form, it's going to take you into cat form. And if you press it in cat form, you'll stay in cat form. I quite like that as well. Then we have Dash and Stampeding Roar, where they will kind of cancel each other because this one. Because in Kata, you can shift roots, as I said earlier, but you can stampede and dash out of roots. But if you use one and then you want to use the other, you got to cancel one first. And these macros make that very, very smooth. Then we have a Wild Charge macro, Wild Charge in every form. Super, super nice. We have Fury. Also will take you in cat form. If you're not in cat form. Where was I now? Here. Yeah, dash again, same thing. And then also your travel form is going to put you into flight form, swim form, depending on your surroundings or scenario you're in. And then also have a few mouse over macros for Innovate, Heal and Touch, Life Bloom. I quite like that. If I'm like in a raid group, I can just mouse over to use those. But yeah, those are some of the macros I find very, very helpful in Kata. I believe maybe my meld macro was missing from there. I'm going to actually update that. So yeah, also have a Shadow macro and a Prowl macro. These are super, super nice. Helps a lot. You can see here, if I'm fighting out and I press meld, I can just pounce. I believe you can do that without the macro as well. But trust me, get these macros is going to make your general meld usage way more smooth in Kata. And also the stealth macro. And I'll update both of those guys and put them in the pastebin. So yeah, definitely grab those two. And you'll be thanking me later. These two right here. And yeah. Kind of standard stuff. Kick macro. By the way, any macro that I missed, they will all be put into the pastebin. So just make sure you check that out. Wait, also Skull Bash here. You can see it's going to kick in either form. Bear form, cat form. Very, very nice to have. But yes, last thing I want to say, a little side note, is that I use KUI for nameplates as KUI. Very nice add-on to help with the nameplates in Kata. You can see here. And I also use Dragonflight UI to get my Dragonflight UI in Kata. Because I get a lot of questions about those things, so I'm going to add that. And the actual dark UI is called Frame Color. If anyone actually wants my Kata UI, it's those add-ons right there. And yeah, thanks for watching the guide, everyone. Again, like I'm not really like a rank 1 Kata Feral. Back then, I was about 10 years old. So I wasn't getting any rank 1s back then. But hopefully this was helpful. Any like, you know, big time Kata Ferals have any tips, anything you want to add or correct, put it down below. And yeah, good luck everyone on your Feral gaming. And I'll see you the next one.